First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. Appreciate you joining us wherever you're watching. We are live on YouTube, Facebook as well, all of our apps, and of course on the website here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. And today we're going to be talking about something that we started talking about a couple of weeks ago. We're continuing on with this theme about how to stay safe on the water. Last time we talked about staying safe at the coast, on the beach. I learned about currents and riptides and a lot of stuff associated with that. Today we're talking about how to be safe on a boat and to be safe with wearing life jackets, among other things. And to do that, we have our expert joining us once again. Thank you so much. It's Charles Loos, the ocean coach. Charles, appreciate you being here. Learned a lot last time, and I feel like we got a lot of response from that too. I learned some things. I've been here for a long time, and I did not realize some of the information that you told me, so it was really good to learn that. And I feel like that's what's going to be happening today. So thanks for being here. Where do you want to start off today?
Well, I want to talk about boating safety and the real causes of boating accidents. People worry about sinking, they worry about storms, they worry about sharks, they worry about all sorts of things. But year in and year out, one of the most common things that happens is collisions. Boats run into each other a lot. They run into bridges, they run into pilings, they run into buoys, they run into docks. And year in and year out, it's kind of the same old story. So I wanted to bring that to people's attention. And I have a lot of sympathy for that because let's face it, when you're driving, the hazards are pretty much right in front of you and the road isn't moving. But if you're driving a boat, the hazards can come from any direction at all. And there are currents and the road is moving. And it's just a whole different thing.
And every year we unfortunately, hear about boat accidents, some worse than others, or people running aground or misunderstanding currents. And I think, to me, one of those things when you're out on the water too, it's easy to misjudge that. You just think, oh, it's wide open, do whatever you want, if you're on a lake or river or anything. But yeah, there are a lot of concerns there. So let's walk through those.
Okay, well, first of all, a boat doesn't have brakes. So think about that one.
That is an important thing to know.
And if you've been driving for 3 decades, that's a real change. And the other thing is a boat doesn't steer like a car. A car steers from the front. A boat steers from the back. So if you want to get a feel for that, some of your viewers go to the grocery store, grab a shopping cart, and start pushing it around backwards. Try and parallel park that thing. Try and go around corners. You'll find it's just everything against your driver's instincts, but that's the way a boat handles. So there is just some fundamental differences between a boat and a car. That's one thing.
Yeah, that's a good one. No brakes. It's going to take you a lot longer to slow down when you're out there. So paying attention to that, making sure that people are actually aware of that. That's good. What's another one?
Well, the other thing is not only should you, captain, not run into something, don't let yourself get hit by another boat. That's just as common because there's a certain exuberance on the water. People are just joyful in the sunshine with their friends and they're speeding along. And being on a boat is one great big diversion. You talk about distracted driving, but on a boat, you're not in a constrained cockpit. Your buddies are over here. There's something going on over there. And there's a tendency to just kind of enjoy and not really focus. So don't let someone else hit you either, especially if you're in a kayak, a stand-up paddleboard, a smaller boat. It really goes both ways.
Yeah, and that's for anybody who's the captain. I mean, as much as fun as everybody else is having, that seems like that's a lot of responsibility. You really do have to pay attention. I can see also how it's easy to get lost in the moment when you're out there on the water. It's a lot of fun, but you're right. Watching out for other people, that's huge.
Yeah. Yep.
So we've got those are, awareness, being aware that, it's going to take you a long time to slow down. What are some other just basic things that people need to be really paying attention to? Even common sense stuff, even talking about these, they seem like common sense, but it's so easy to forget about that stuff.
So easy to forget about it. Let's talk about life jackets. The number one cause of boating deaths is drowning due to lack of life jackets. And the Coast Guard and boating safety people have been preaching that for 100 years. But a lot of captains, with all good intentions, decide, okay, everybody on my boat is going to wear a life jacket at all times. Great. I love that. But they end up perhaps with a horrible thing like this, which is kind of like a cone of shame for a dog. I mean, nobody's going to wear this. You
No.
might get a package of these with your boat from the boat dealer, but you can't look down, you can't look to the side, you can't see your toes. They're terrible.
They're a
And
pain
if
to put on. I mean, I remember wearing those all the time as a kid, and I hated it.
you hate
Yeah,
it, yeah.
yeah. You can't move around. They're hot. Yeah, they're not fun.
And they're cheap and they fulfill the Coast Guard requirements. But if you think your guests are going to wear this, the kids will do it. They will hide from their Instagram friends. Adults will. I mean, they're never going to go with you again. So lose these things, especially is if you have one person on board who's a non-swimmer or a kid, and they're the only one wearing this thing. No, isn't going to happen. So um, I'd like to ban these things actually, but there
But
are alternatives.
and that's what I was going to say. So that's that just to go back to that point that you made. So that does satisfy the Coast Guard requirements of
Yes,
having
it
one,
does.
but in reality, probably not a lot of people are going to wear those.
Exactly, exactly. And to me, the only life jacket that does you any good is the one you're wearing because things happen fast on the water. Thinking that you're going to pull a life jacket out in an emergency is like thinking that you're going to put your seatbelts on in the middle of a crash. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
So, those orange things have great buoyancy. Some of the ones I'm going to show you, maybe not as much, but really, if you're not wearing it, it doesn't do you any good. So, why don't you put up that slide of what some alternatives are?
Yeah, I've pulled a few here that you had brought in. So I'm not sure what order you want to go, but
That's fine. That's fine.
okay.
These are pictures from the Coast Guard, and these are inflatable types. So if you end up in the water, they either automatically inflate or you pull a ripcord and they inflate. And they're so comfortable. I have people on my boat and they forget they're wearing them. And it's not till they get home and want to take a shower that they remember they're wearing these things. So totally unobtrusive, and people will wear them without any problem at all. So that's really good for adults. Good
Yeah,
option.
I like the idea of these inflatable ones, and again, that satisfies safety requirements, right?
Only if you're wearing them, yes.
Only if
Yes,
you're wearing them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Great. So inflatable options. That's a fantastic one. Um, just kind of going down the list here of some of these that we have. Tell me about
So
these.
these are ski vests or they're kayaking vests. They're sleek. They're designed for paddling. I rode 50 miles on a boat in these things. They're comfortable. You almost forget that they're on. They look good, and it's a great option for adults.
And so that's just another thing that you could have on board there for people. Or would you recommend somebody buy one for themselves and just always have that?
If you're a frequent guest on a boat, bring your own. Captains always appreciate that. But you, captain, ought to have a variety of life jackets as part of your hospitality. Let's face it, you got your friends and your family on the boat. It's a hospitality exercise. So have some of those. And I think we have another slide here.
Yeah, we've got a couple. Well, I've got that one. I'm not
That's
sure which.
it. That's it right
That's
there.
the one.
No,
Okay.
that's the one. So dad's wearing the inflatable type. They're a little more difficult to inflate, so that's fine for him. And the kid is wearing a comfortable, sleek kind of vest. Everybody's happy. As long as everybody has to wear one, nobody feels singled out. And we can change the culture on the coast. It used to be that you were considered a wimp if you wore a life jacket. That was 15 years ago. Now, if you
Right.
don't wear a life jacket, you're kind of a dummy. People will push back on you. And if other captains, even on freshwater, see a whole happy crew wearing life jacket, it shifts the culture a little bit. So create the world you want to have.
I feel like it's kind of along the lines of wearing a helmet when snow skiing. It used to be, look at the dork with a helmet, but now it's, yeah, don't be an idiot, wear a helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's just another example here too. This is one other one I believe that you sent over.
Yeah, and the Coast Guard is promoting these things like crazy. If you look around in the safety literature, you don't even see these horrible orange things anymore. And good riddance to them. Again, if everybody on the boat is wearing them, nobody feels singled out, and it looks professional. It's a signal to your crew that you respect them, that you love them, that you're caring for them, and it's non-negotiable. On my boat, you don't want to wear it, you're not going.
Yeah.
Very simple, very simple.
Well, I
But
like the idea that there's so many different options too. Of ones that are more comfortable, look better, if you're worried about that, and still get the job done, if not the same or better than what those other ones used to.
Yep, yep. And I'm calling that the captain's responsibility to outfit their boat with that stuff.
When it comes to that for the captains, out there, somebody who owns a boat or you rent a boat and you're the one driving around, we went through some of those boat safety tips, especially if you're a novice driver. Remember, it's going to take you a long time to slow down. You don't have brakes. Key things: don't run into something, don't let somebody else run into you. And then talking about the life jackets, anything else that you think somebody should really just pay attention to or just be aware of if they're going out there on the water?
Yeah, so alcohol, alcohol is as bad on the water as it is on the road. And it's so much fun to go out there with a cooler of beer. But
Yeah.
it really is a contributing factor, Greg. And so many people are injured or killed. And you don't want to be that guy who's standing in the courtroom explaining to the judge that, yeah, you'd had a few. Um, just stay away from this stuff, Captain. Now, your guests can do what they want, but if you're driving the boat, you have your loved ones on board. They will appreciate you not drinking, and people will respect you, and people will want to go out with you again. And I don't consider it a burden. Consider it an honor. I mean, captains from millennia ago have been responsible for their vessels and their crews. I count it as a point of honor. I count it as a point of privilege to go out and show your people a great time. But for gosh sakes,
Yeah.
stay sober, stay sharp.
Yeah, I mean, and there are repercussions for that too. In addition to just the safety of everybody on board, there's legal reasons as well, correct?
There are very strong laws against being intoxicated on the water. That includes all sorts of drugs and weed. And law enforcement will come down on you very hard. They know that this is how people die. So, and funny enough, if you're wearing a life jacket and you don't look intoxicated, you're not going to get hassled by law enforcement. If you're driving erratically and nobody's wearing a life jacket, you're a target. You'll be boarded. And yeah, so consider it an honor, guys and women.
Yeah. Yeah, great. I mean, all great advice. And again, some of it, may seem common sense in some way, but it's going back to that point. Once you're out there on the water, it's really easy to forget.
Yeah,
For
it's not
some
about
people.
fancy boats. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about gear. It's not about fancy boats. This stuff it doesn't cost any money to maintain a lookout and stay sober, but it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Anything else?
Enjoy our waters. We have world-class waters here in Oregon. It's summertime. Get out there. You paddle boarders, you kayakers, you're doing it on a shoestring. You're having so much fun. If you've ever wanted to get a boat, this is the time to do it. This is the place to do it. And just go out there and realize the great gift we have of our Oregon waters. So go do it.
It is really amazing out there. I mean, this is what we go through the fall and winter of rain for, is to enjoy this right now when you can get out there and do all these summer activities. I mean, you can still go boating in the winter too, but you know what I mean. Getting out there right now, there's so many people out having a good time. So, Charles, always appreciate this, and I want to remind everybody too. We had you on a couple, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and this is all on our Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, where you can take a look at that and learn some more about beach safety. We're learning about boat safety right now, and I'm hoping we'll have you back on here soon as well to talk about more things, because I know you are the expert in it. And to let everybody know about that too, can you just let them know about what you do out there?
I teach captains how to take their small boats onto the ocean with due regard for wind, swell, and tide, and crossing the bar, navigation, and radio protocol. I offer one-on-one coaching and digital courses. You can find me at theoceancoach.com. I'd be delighted to talk to you.
Fantastic. Well, Charles, thank you so much for being here on Fox 12 Now. Always appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, it was fun.
And thank you, everybody, too, for tuning in to Fox 12 Now. Again, I'm Greg Nibbler. We are live here at our digital desk here at the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. And coming up at 1:30 p.m., I'm going to be talking to a local company that makes sake. Yes, sake. It depends how you say it. But nonetheless, did you know that Oregon is the #1 consumer of that? I had no idea. And one of the premier craft sake breweries is right down the street in Forest Grove, and we're talking to them about a big celebration that they have coming up. So that's going to be here in about 15 minutes or so. So wherever you're watching us, you can come right back here. I know we're on Facebook now as well, so thanks and hi to everybody who's on Facebook. Another option, YouTube, all of our streaming apps, or our streaming app, and of course on Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, website, lots of places to find us. So thanks for being here with us, and we will be back here just shortly, so come on back for that. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.